New York is one of the most famous cities in the world. It's loud, fast, powerful, always moving. But underneath the noise, something else is moving too. Something quiet, dirty, unstoppable. Rats. They live in the walls, under the ground, behind restaurants and apartments. They've been here for hundreds of years, and now they might be winning. Rats didn't start in New York. They came here. In the 1700s, ships from Europe brought goods, people, and rats. The brown rat, also called the Norway rat, snuck into the city, hiding in the darkness of cargo holds. They didn't come by choice, but once they landed, they stayed. New York was the perfect place for them. The city was growing fast. Streets were crowded, trash was everywhere, buildings were packed together. It was noisy, messy, full of leftovers. Rats don't need much, just food, water, and a dark place to hide. And in New York, they found everything they needed. They spread fast. One rat can have 8 babies at a time, and in just over a month, those babies can have babies too. That's how one ship full of rats turned into a city full of them. By the 1800s, rats had taken over the city's markets, alleys, and sewers. In the early 1900s, health officials already called them a public danger. But the city was too big, too fast, and too unclean to stop them. Over the centuries, rats adapted. They became smarter, faster, harder to catch. By 2017, researchers found something surprising. Rats in uptown New York were genetically different from rats downtown. They had formed their own rat neighborhoods. The rats didn't just survive New York, they became part of it. New York has been trying to fight its rat problem for decades, but it's not a fair fight because the rats are faster, smarter, and always one step ahead. In 2017, the city launched a $32 million plan to reduce rats in key neighborhoods. They placed solar-powered trash compactors. They increased inspections. They handed out steel garbage bins. They even tried dry ice used to suffocate rats inside their burrows. Some neighborhoods saw brief success, but the rats always came back. In 2023, things got worse. Rat sightings jumped by over 50% citywide compared to a decade earlier. In some areas of Queens, complaints doubled. Residents said things like, "Every house on this block has rats now." That same year, the city did something it had never done before. It appointed its first ever rat czar. Kathleen Karate, a former education official, was given one job: reduce the rats. She formed the city's first rat mitigation zone, focusing on the most infested areas. She cracked down on illegal dumping. And she worked with sanitation teams to shorten the time trash stays on the street. In 2024, the city introduced new rules. All residential buildings with over 9 units must put garbage in sealed containers. No more trash bags sitting on sidewalks. It was a good start, but rats are more than just a sanitation problem. They're also a housing problem, a construction problem, an infrastructure problem. They squeeze through gaps in old buildings, chew through wires, nest inside insulation. Spray foam doesn't stop them. Plastic doesn't slow them down. If there's a way in, they'll find it. To make things worse, rats are getting bolder. They're showing up in daylight, walking into restaurants, climbing onto outdoor dining tables. In some neighborhoods, kids are scared to play outside because rats are running through playgrounds. Terrier teams still go out at night. Volunteers with trained dogs sweep alleyways, hunting rats the old school way. It works for a night, but the next night, they're back. Exterminators say the same thing. It's not about how many you kill, it's about how much food they have access to. And as long as New York leaves garbage on the streets every evening, the rats will always have a reason to stay. This isn't a war the city can win with poison or traps alone. It's about changing how the city itself works. Because you can kill 1,000 rats, but if the system doesn't change, 1,000 more will come. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel for more stories that dig deeper than the headlines. And if you thought New York had a rat problem, wait until you see the place where rats aren't hunted, they're welcomed. Watch our next video, India, the country that made friends with rats.